Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jawan live at the breaking news desk in the NBC 6 studios, and we're following a plane that has crashed into a house.
This is the bathroom right here. This is pretty much the kitchen.
Tonight, we turn our focus to the leading ladies who are doing phenomenal work in our community. Senator Rubio, let's talk about what happens if. What happens if you do not win? A lot of people angry that someone would actually walk in and shoot and kill 9 people.
This is NBC 6 Breaking News.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jawan live at the breaking news desk in the NBC 6 studios, and we're following a plane that has crashed into a house. This is happening at 924 Harbor Drive. This is in Pompano Beach. Now, this is between US 1 and A1A. We do have some video we're going to get to in just a moment. And here's a look at that video. This was given to us from a Michael Burgess. Take a look. It was shot here. This is a still picture. You can see the plume of smoke. Again, 924 Harbor Drive, which is just north of East Atlantic Avenue in Pompano Beach. This is what we know, is that a small plane has crashed into a house. We understand that maybe even 2 homes may be affected. We do have NBC 6 reporter Marissa back. She is headed to the scene right now. She's going to bring us a full report as soon as she gets there. But if you take a look here at this video that we have from Michael Burgess here, you can see the large plume of black smoke there after that plane has crashed. No word on any injuries at this point. No word on whether or not anybody was inside that plane. Again, 924 Harbor Drive in Pompano Beach. This is between US 1 and A1A. Just to give you some idea of the relation of this area. NBC 6 reporter Marissa back. She is live on the scene. Marissa, what can you tell us so far about what you know?
Charleston church massacre.
There is something particularly heartbreaking about death happening in a place in which we seek solace and we seek peace.
Why did you do it?
Accused shooter Dylan Roth extradited back to South Carolina and behind bars tonight. He allegedly opened fire inside a historic church, killing 9 innocent people.
We woke up today and the heart and soul of South Carolina was broken.
The assault, now deemed a hate crime.
In America, we don't let bad people like this get away with these dastardly deeds.
Tonight, live team coverage from South Carolina to South Florida.
Tonight, we're learning more about the 9 victims in the shooting. Good evening, I'm Jackie Nesprell.
And I'm Adam Cooperstein. Federal authorities are also looking into the shooter's motivation here, trying to figure out why someone would do this. NBC 6 anchor Jawan Strader begins our live team coverage tonight from Charleston, South Carolina. Jawan.
Yeah, Adam and Jackie, still a lot of emotion here in the heart of Charleston, South Carolina, which happens to be where the church Emmanuel AME is standing right now. A lot of people angry that someone would actually walk in a place of worship, walk in and shoot and kill 9 people. A lot of people upset by that, but people in this community saying that it will not stop them from healing. A lot of people in this community saying it will not stop them from remembering those 9 victims. These surveillance photos of Dylan Storm Ruff played a big part in his capture and arrest for one of the worst mass killings in South Carolina history.
That awful person who would go into a place of worship when people were praying and kill them is now in custody, where he will always remain.
Police say that Ruff walked into the Emmanuel AME Church Wednesday night during a Bible study and sat for an hour before drawing a gun.
I spoke with one of the survivors, and she said that he had reloaded 5 different times. He just said, I have to do it. He said, you rape our women and you taking over our country, and you have to go.
2 people, including Sylvia Johnson's cousin, were hit. When the shooting stopped, 9 people were dead, 6 women and 3 men, including the church's beloved pastor, Clemente Pinckney. That's left friends and loved ones still in shock.
One moment I'm fine.
It's hard.
Yeah.
While FBI, state, and local police swarmed the entire region, Dylan Ruff was on the run.
I've never seen or experienced what I would consider pure evil in my career, and this is pure evil.
Ruff drove 250 miles to North Carolina. The decisive tip came late this morning when a local florist driving to work recognized the black Hyundai Elantra from the news and the distinctive haircut of the driver. Minutes later, the 13-hour manhunt ended with an uneventful traffic stop. Ruff was in custody, but the night had taken an emotional toll.
We will march in that great procession.
Inside a nearby church, mourners from all races and backgrounds came together to pray for healing.
At the end of the service, we had a prayer together, and a young woman touched me on the back, and she said, "Sir, I apologize for what my people did to your people." And I said, "Ma'am, I don't see it this way."
A community in mourning, but in prayer determined to come together again. Now, it's important to point out that Ruff is here in Charleston, South Carolina. He will be arraigned on murder charges tomorrow. As far as Charleston is concerned, this is only the beginning to measure the toll that he took here in this community. We're talking about the 9 lives lost here. With more on that, let's check in with Adam Cooperstein live in studio with more on the lives lost, the victims, and the beloved pastor. Adam?
And before we go, we want to head back to Miami-Dade College, where the Democratic debate is expected to begin in just a few hours.
And let's check in with Jawan live on campus with a special guest.
Yeah, that's right, Adam. As I said earlier, I was going to get Congresswoman, also Democratic Party Chairwoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz here. We were able to grab you. You were stuck in a little traffic. I want to ask you first off your thoughts on the Michigan primary, the outcome of last night, and Senator Bernie Sanders' victory.
Well, we had both of our candidates win one state, and our primary continues. And tonight, we're so thrilled to have everybody in South Florida. We're going to hear our incredible candidates talk about how they're going to move America forward, help people reach the middle class. And compared to the food fight and the bloody mess that's going on the other side of the aisle, where they're insulting one another, I'm really glad to see our candidates talking about the issues that matter to voters.
Senator Sanders sat down one-on-one with my colleague Jackie Nesbraw. He expressed concern on how the DNC has treated his campaign, basically saying that they treated him unfairly. Your thoughts?
Well, I couldn't disagree with him more. We've been neutral and fair. It's my job to responsibly run this primary and be fair to both candidates, and I'm proud of the effort that my team has made, and we're looking forward to supporting whoever ends up as our nominee.
Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining us. Back to you guys in the studio.
NBC6 anchor Jawan Strader had a one-on-one with Rubio. He joins us live in the studio with the presidential hopeful, told him about his campaign push. Jawan.
Yeah, that's right, Trina. Senator Rubio faces a very tough challenge ahead. So far, he's only won twice in the primaries in Minnesota and Puerto Rico, but he's still very confident that a win in the Sunshine State will give him momentum to become the presidential nominee. I spoke with him today about his campaign and about reports that his advisors are asking him to drop out before the big March 15th primary. Here's what he had to say about it.
They're false, 100% false. On the contrary, given the nature of the front runner, I have people begging me to do everything possible to win in Florida and stay in, and you can see that reflected in the amount of interest there is in the campaign. It's just, it's actually an embarrassment for CNN that they even ran with that story.
Senator Rubio, let's talk about what happens if. What happens if you do not win Florida? Would you, and you've answered this once before, so I have to ask you this once again, would you support whomever the nominee could be if that nominee happens to be Donald Trump?
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough question what you're asking. I mean, in the end, look, I don't want Hillary Clinton to be president. That's how bad I think she is. But that's why it's a tough question to answer, because I think Donald Trump would be a disaster for the Republican Party. I really do. I think he would lose. I think he has dangerous ideas on foreign policy. I think he has dangerous ideas on the economy. And I think he's not been a serious candidate in terms of talking about important issues. So you wouldn't have to ask that question of me if it was anybody else. If anyone else was the front runner, that question would not be asked. So I continue to say that I'm not voting for Hillary Clinton, but Donald Trump as the front runner is something a lot of people are concerned about. And even if I say I would support him, I can tell you a significant number of Republicans will not support him no matter what. And that means he loses the election. That means Hillary Clinton wins. That's why we can't allow him to win in Florida, and that's why I'm asking everyone to vote for me.
So does that mean that you would support him if he's the nominee?
I'll continue to say I'm going to support the Republican nominee because I have confidence and optimism that the Republican nominee is going to be me and not Donald Trump.
Well, Senator Rubio went on to talk about his criticized voting record in the Senate and former Governor Jeb Bush. You can see my full interview with Senator Marco Rubio online on the NBC 6 News and Weather app. Live in the studio, Jawan Strader, NBC 6 News.
NBC 6 celebrates Black History Month. Perseverance, passion, poise. The essence of black women empowering the next generation. The incomparable journey of leaders triumphant in the face of adversity.
I am the voice for the voiceless.
God is using me.
Blazing trails, building bridges, and catapulting their communities.
I have an obligation to push our people into their greatness.
A tribute to change agents, paving the path in South Florida.
Welcome to NBC6's Paving the Path, Black Women in South Florida. I'm Trina Robinson.
And I'm Jawan Strader. While we honor the greats of our past and present during Black History Month, tonight we turn our focus to the leading ladies who are doing phenomenal work in our community.
And Jawan, we come to you from the Little Haiti Cultural Complex, which has become a hub for Black Caribbean art.
This art gallery that we stand in pays homage to Black women. The piece behind us, called The Rehearsal, was created by Haitian artist Francesca Lulan.
And the fight for equality and justice for minorities is not reserved for men. Many women have positioned themselves on the front line to fight for equality and for the cause.
And that's the legacy of the first woman we highlight, U.S. Representative Frederica Wilson. Her unmatched service to the community took her from an elementary school in Liberty City to the halls of Congress. And speaking of President Obama, many Cuban Americans, Jackie, as well as Cubans here on the island, believe the president won't see the other side of Cuba that so many people talk about. We spoke with a family who showed us their day-to-day struggles. Driving through Cuba, you see paved roads and what looks like clean streets and well-kept neighborhoods. Maybe a different image the Cuban government wanted to portray for President Obama on his visit to the island. But this is the other side. A wake-up call for some, a reality for many here. Cubans living in deplorable conditions, their homes made of crumbled brick, rotted wood, and bathrooms you wouldn't see in an American prison. Wilmer Sabina welcomed us into his home and introduced us to his family. They live in the Latimba neighborhood where they struggle to live day to day on about $30 a month. Sabina goes on to say, what I can tell you here that a pair of shoes are very expensive. A worker here, for example, minimum salary 800 pesos and the CUC 24.25 by the state. It's not enough to buy a pair. Sabina showed us other areas of their small community split up into several homes made of aluminum panels and wood planks. Wow. And if you lived on the second floor, that meant climbing a broken ladder to get to your home. Inside, the conditions just as bad as some of the homes below.
This is the bathroom right here. This is pretty much the kitchen, along with a room. Somebody's sleeping right now.
The roof on many of these homes with little protection from the weather. Now, here's a look from above. It gives you a better idea of just how small and unsafe many of these homes are. And even in their daily struggles, many of the Cubans here still have their faith. The outside of this door reads in Spanish, God protect our home. But despite the struggle, many here are still joyful, happy about life, family, and something they always carry with them, hope. And hope is what they believe President Obama brings to the Cuban people on the island.
Yes, I believe it. I think he will change this life we're living.
Now, the family that you heard from in that story says that the government will or does plan on moving them out of that particular area, but no date or time has been set. Now, coming up tomorrow, we're going to look at the woman that you heard, that last woman in the piece right there. She's going to show us the struggles she's dealing with every day, which are very tough to look at, but she's also going to talk a little bit more about that hope you heard.
NBC6 anchor Jawan Strader is live on the Kendall campus with more Jawan. You're having a grand old time there.
Oh, Jackie, you know I am. Of course, all the students there, all the spirit here on
people out there you may not know is that Miami-Dade College boasts one of the largest enrollments in the country. You're talking about 165,000 students. But what's even more interesting happens to be the arts. You're talking about dance, you're talking about theater and everything else. And sometimes it can take a toll on your wallet, but they offer a very unique program that could save you money. Okay, Stefano again, Jawan Strader here with you. Go ahead and hang out with me, man, for a minute.
Hang out.
Again, Barry University, the students, the staff, everybody has been great here. You're talking about 10,000 students, one of the largest Catholic universities here in the Southeast. Another look here at Barry, which is going to cap off College Week. But we want to say a big thank you for everyone who has tuned into College Week. I want to say a big thank you to the crew, the NBC6 staff, and everybody else. It's been a very successful College Week.
Absolutely, and they know how to party.
And they do know how to party. I'm going to send it back to you guys to the studio.
This is an NBC6 First Alert Weather Day.
Mother Nature staying busy on this First Alert Weather Day. Check out all the rain falling down on Homestead, making for a very dreary afternoon.
A live look right now outside as some of the storm system heads east over the Atlantic, but it's still looking like a gloomy night ahead of us. Good evening, I'm Jackie Nesbro.
And I'm Jawan Strader. Let's get you right on over to South Florida's Chief Meteorologist John Morales with more on the wet weather out. And right now we continue our team coverage of this First Alert Weather Day. NBC6 reporter Laura Rodriguez is live from Florida City, where heavy rains have flooded roads all over there. Laura, thank you. Broward deputies are on the hunt for a trio of thieves they found breaking into cars in a hotel parking lot. The crooks managed to get away, but not without doing some damage first. NBC6 reporter Bobby Brooks is in Dania Beach with more on the search. Hurricane season is exactly 2 weeks away, and Miami-Dade County wants you to be ready. Today, the county's Emergency Operations Center conducted a hurricane exercise. It involved all the agencies that would respond in the event of an actual hurricane. This year, an emphasis will be placed on using social media to get the word out should a storm threaten our area. And with hurricane season quickly approaching, be sure to check out the hurricane season section on the NBC6 News and Weather app. And we have everything you need to know to prepare for the 2016 season there before it even begins.